They say there's something unique about every person, but looking at some, you might involuntarily think that they got the whole unique package. We're all a little bit weird, some more than others. There are those, however, who got past casual weirdness and enter the ranks of the especially bizarre. These people are so unusual that you will actually regret not seeing them before in your life. From the woman who tried to live in an iron lung to the blind man who can see, this list has it all. So let us look at 10 most unusual people we could find. You will be surprised to see the first two. Number 10. Woman who lived inside an iron lung for 61 years. Martha Mason, as a result of polio, was paralyzed since childhood. But that didn't stop her from living. She lived a rather extraordinary life as she spent over 60 years of her life immobilized in an iron lung. Despite her seemingly desperate situation, Martha lived a fulfilling life, graduating from high school and college with the highest honors, hosting many dinner parties, and even writing a book called Breath: Life in the Rhythm of an Iron Lung, in which she portrayed the challenges and joys of her life. She became paralyzed when she was just 11 years old after suffering from polio, and she soon found herself immobilized in an iron lung, dependent on it to do the breathing for her. Iron lung is a term used to describe a pressure ventilator, a type of medical device that helps paralyzed people breathe by decreasing and increasing the air pressure inside a large iron tank. Ms. Mason lived almost her entire life in such a tank, with the pressure contracting and expanding her lungs when her weak muscles couldn't. She died at the age of 60. Number 9. Man who can withstand freezing temperature. Using the Buddhist meditation technique Tumo, Dutch daredevil Wim Hof keeps his body temperature steady while enduring extremely cold conditions. Hof, whose feats have earned him the nickname Iceman, has completed several marathons and climbed Mount Kilimanjaro in sub-freezing temperatures wearing only shorts. Hof holds 20 cold endurance world records, including, at 1 hour, 13 minutes, and 48 seconds, the record for the longest ice bath. He has set Guinness World Records for swimming under ice and prolonged full-body contact with ice, and still holds the record for a barefoot half marathon on ice and snow. He attributes these feats to his Wim Hof method, a combination of frequent cold exposure, breathing techniques, and meditation. Preliminary and proof-of-principle studies of Hof's method, as well as similar breathing practices, have shown that hyperventilating can temporarily suppress the innate immune response, as well as temporarily increase heart rate and adrenaline levels. Hof has set the world record for the longest time in direct, full-body contact with ice, a total of 16 times, including 1 hour, 42 minutes, and 22 seconds on January 23, 2009. When exposed to cold, the human body can increase heat production by shivering or non-shivering thermogenesis, in which brown adipose tissue, also known as brown fat, converts chemical energy to heat. Mild cold exposure is known to increase BAT activity. People have died while attempting the Wim Hof method, so be safe. Number 8. Strongest man in the world. Sergei Chirilnikov is from Kazakhstan and has won gold medals at the Olympics. Just to give you a glimpse of his raw strength, Sergei has pulled a 180-ton train with his body alone and ripped through iron chains and padlocks by just flexing his muscles. We are not sure how Sergei came up with the idea of his insane videos, but they really are one of the best on the internet, and we are glad that he came up with them. He doesn't care if he loses the keys of a lock, because he can just break open the thing. Sergei is known for pulling and stopping not one, but 2 planes from taking off with his bare arms. We are still unsure if there is anything he can't do, because his enormous strength is like something we have never seen before. He has proven that he is the closest thing we have to a real-life Hulk. Sergei is able to break chains by just pulling his neck. He is able to perform these absurd tasks because of his tireless training. He has broken 4 world records, and he has stated that he broke these records just to make fun of the people who spent their entire lives training and making them. That tells you something about the insane mentality of Sergei Chirilnikov. Number 7. A 6-finger sinker. Former Major League Baseball relief pitcher Antonio Alfonseca was known for his killer sinker. While this pitch was surely the result of years of practice and perfection, It's difficult to conclude that it wasn't also at least partially due to the sixth finger on his throwing hand. Alfonseca was born with a rare genetic condition known as polydactyly, which results in extra fingers or toes. In fact, El Pulpo, or the octopus as his teammates called him, has an additional extremity on each hand and foot. While it's debatable if the extra finger actually helped his pitching, it's hard to imagine that it had no effect. Number 6. Person who can eat anything. Michael Lotito was a French entertainer known as Monsieur Mangetot, or Mr. Eats-All. Throughout his career, Michael consumed all manner of non-consumable objects made of glass, rubber, and metal, which he would often accompany by downing mineral oil. One of his most impressive feats was consuming an entire Cessna 150 airplane, which he ate in small bits over the course of 2 years. There were a couple of things going on here. First, Michael appeared to suffer from a condition known as pica, a disorder characterized by the appetite for non-consumable foods like dirt, rocks, and metals. But what makes Michael truly notable is the abnormally thick lining in his stomach and intestines that made it possible for him to eat sharp metal objects and consume toxic substances, which would have killed a lesser person. Number 5. The strongest firefighter. If this firefighter is on duty the day your house catches fire, consider your life saved. Evgeny Los works as a firefighter in Belarus. Evgeny has an insane body. Just to show you a glimpse of how strong he is, look at how fast and amazingly he swings his hammer. His workout routine is so intense that no one in the firefighting squad can compete with him. And that is just his everyday routine. Evgeny also has a world record for most weighted push-ups on uneven bars performed in a minute. He performed an unbelievable 53 push-ups in just 1 minute and destroyed the previous record, which was 40 push-ups in 1 minute. Considering his body, which looks like something out of a superhero comic, breaking the record shouldn't have been hard for him. Consider your life saved if he is the one who rescues you. Number 4. Masaki Ikemiyagi. Karate is an ancient art that is meant to focus on discipline and self-defense, and never for actual combat. That is lucky for the rest of us, because there are karate masters who can bring down even the strongest people. Masaki Ikemiyagi is one of them. He began his training under Yagi-Dai Sensei at the age of 15 in 1968. He has remained a loyal and dedicated student of Yagi-Dai ever since. Ikemiyagi Sensei has been a kancho, also known as a dojo director of his own Meibukan Dojo in Okinawa since 1981. Yes, he is so good that he came up with his own style of karate. He is known to have the deadliest punch in the world. Even he doesn't know his own limits. Endeavoring continuously to improve his martial arts, he has traveled to China, Taiwan, Indonesia, Hawaii, Brazil, Australia, and the United States to train and conduct comparative research in the various martial arts systems. Some of the systems that he has studied are other forms of karate, judo, boxing, capoeira, and various forms of kung fu. You definitely wouldn't want to mess with the man with the deadliest punch on the planet. Number 3. Blind man who can see. Daniel Kish can't see with his eyes, as he has had both of them removed during a childhood battle with retina cancer. But he has so finely tuned his hearing that he can navigate his bike through heavy traffic, climb trees, camp alone, and dance fluidly. His power is echolocation. To orient himself, Kish clicks his tongue and listens closely as the sound bounces off objects around him and returns to his ears at different volumes. Bats, dolphins, and beluga whales use a similar technique, biosonar, to navigate the ocean. Kish is so adept at getting around using echolocation that other blind people hire him to help them get around. And with that, it's now time for today's subscriber pick. Today's photo was sent to us by a subscriber. If you come across a photo online and want to know more details about it, just send it over to us. We might even feature it on a future video. Number 2. This picture is probably photoshopped, as we couldn't find anything relating to it on the internet. But we get the idea behind it. People try to gain unusual amounts of muscle using supplements and even drugs, which results in their body parts looking like that. Number 1. Jigsaw Girl. Bethany Jordan from Stourbridge, England, has Ivermark syndrome. This syndrome can result in physical problems so bizarre that you wouldn't believe them if someone told you, but we can confirm that it is very real. In the case of Bethany, she was born with her stomach on the wrong side of her body. Her liver was misaligned, her heart was so out of place that if she exerted herself, you could see her heartbeat in her back, in addition to having a hole in it, which is not that abnormal, 2 left lungs, and most bizarre of all, she had 5 spleens. If you don't know what that is, the spleen is the organ that filters infections and dead cells from the bloodstream. Having 4 extra of them is likely the largest number of extra organs that a person has ever had that most people only have 1 of. Despite her doctor's natural belief that she would not survive, as of 2009, at age 6, she was in good health, aside from being unable to take part in difficult activities. She also was given the nickname Jigsaw Girl. That is our list of 10 unusual people in the world you would regret not seeing. What is the most unusual ability you have seen in a human? Let us know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel.